We are live. Welcome back to the RINO podcast, live on Twitter.com. Oh, Kaitlin.
I'm in my new house, Jeff.
You are. Nice windows, nice tall windows, and my dog is about to break into my office and push in the door. Hang on one second.
I hear. Oh, puppy.
All right. There we go. Sorry, folks. Technical difficulties with the dog coming into the office. The dog has learned how to open all doorknobs, both in and out. Both in and
with
out, like
paws?
with her paws. So I don't have circular doorknobs. I have latch doorknobs, right? So you can. So she's figured out how to. The easy one, you pull down on the latch and push in the door, right? When you're pushing in. That's easy enough. Just she's figured out how to slap one and close the door. The tougher one is where the dog has figured out where she has to pull, right? So she has to get her paws up there and pull the door in. And she figured it out. She's a very smart dog. Yeah.
Oh wow. My cat used to be able to do that in the apartment. He figured out Momo figured out which door the knob did not work that well on, and it's the bathroom one. So he, like, if we shut the doors, he would go to the one where it was like loose and push hard on the door to open it.
Animals are smart.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. It's
smart. They were.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry for that interruption. We are here to talk about the MassGOP election for chair, which is in 2 days. On Tuesday, January 31st, at the Apex Center in Marlboro, there will be an election for the chairman of the MassGOP. Jim Lyons.
Way down south. That's way down south.
Nah, it's west, I think.
Is it west? Okay.
West.
Massachusetts. So weird. We have like Marlboro and two Marlboros. We have one with the UGA.
This is. I could be wrong about this, and massholes, feel free to correct me. It's the same Marlboro. It's the same town, but it's literally spelled two different ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what it is. It's the same.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's insane.
Right. There's one down the South Shore, or farther down.
No. There's one. There's one town called Marlboro, and it's spelled M-A-R-L, Borough, B-O-R-O, but it's also spelled B-O-R-O-U-G-H. And I don't think there's two geographic areas, one spelled with just an O and one with a U-G-H. I'm pretty sure it's one place, and they spell it two different ways.
Okay, I believe you.
I could be wrong.
You're the original masshole here.
I know. I'm not telling you it makes sense. I'm not telling you it's a good idea. I'm just trying to reflect reality But anyway, at the Apex Center, where apparently they have laser tag and bowling and video games, which this place sounds fantastic. I may just go out there and play laser tag. But they have a function center. Where they're going to be holding the state committee. Apparently, the election will be taking place at 5 p.m. Per Jim's, finagling and shenanigans, because people have to now then leave work early to make sure they're there on time for the election, which is just he's such a scumbag. And the interesting thing that'll come out recently, a judge decided that Lindsay Valenzola, who's on this Republican State Committee from a town called Wales, which I had never heard of until we knew Lindsay was from there, Jim wouldn't seat her or wouldn't allow her to be on the committee, claiming she wasn't a resident of Massachusetts. Well, the judge decided, yeah, she is, and yes, you must.
No, her town. Her town. I think it was her town, right?
What about her town?
He was trying to say that she didn't live in the district that she would have been representing. Wasn't that his legal argument?
Oh yeah, but I thought because she didn't live in Tennessee or something. That's what he was claiming. Right? He was claiming she lived out of state, like didn't live where she claimed to live, not like that the town wasn't in the district.
She took a 2-week vacation to Tennessee, and she doesn't live in Massachusetts.
Yeah. So with that, it's that he lost the judge said no, she's on the committee. So that's one more vote against Jim, which is good. Maybe it's up to 75 committee members that are, with only 5 open positions, because last time it was 74. There is still a decent number of chuckleheads that are going to support him. I saw Jessica Machado put out a straw poll, which doesn't really mean anything, and Jim got like a third of the vote. But I was like, who's voting? Like people out in, just anybody could vote, or did she take the poll of committee members? Because it doesn't matter. It's not a plurality. That's not how this works. It's like there's 5 or 6 candidates right now, apparently, maybe 4.
And there should have been only 2.
There should have been only 2. A little side note here. I don't like Elizabeth Childs. This goes back like, 10 years from when I ran for Congress and the way she ran her campaign. She's a liberal Republican. Let me say that. She's proudly like a liberal Republican, which, fine. You can be in the tent as a liberal Republican. Great. But no, you're not going to be chair. So like just... I don't personally, I'm not a fan of hers. I don't like the way she's conducted herself. So just go away. I don't think she's going to get any votes or a few. Jay Flightman. I don't know, honestly, anything about this guy. He's the current vice chair. He's 100 years old. Nobody apparently running is younger than 50. Great. John Featherston dropped out. That leaves, Chris Lyon. I don't know much about him, but doesn't seem to be.
He worked for Ray.
For who?
Didn't he work in one of the admins in one of the Republican administrations?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I don't know much about him. But I know. Good. This is the thing. It's like I don't know if his campaign for chair is gaining much traction. It seems to be a race between Amy Carnevale and Jim, and you need 50% plus 1. You need a majority of the state committee votes, and if all the seats were filled, it'd be 80. Now it's like 75 if you include Lindsay Valenzola.
So can I ask a question here? So like, let's say no one gets a majority vote, right? No one gets the 51. Do they keep voting until, or is it like ranked choice?
No. What happens is first round of ballots, nobody gets a majority. The person with the lowest vote total is then kicked off the next ballot. Okay, so
it's kind of like ranked choice, but you keep going through until people are eliminated. You're just not ranking them.
You're not ranking them, right? It's
You're still like,
yep. So you keep voting. It's more like Georgia's runoff system, right, than anything else. Yeah, it's a runoff system, not another thing. So, but if somebody gets a majority on the first ballot, it's done. It's over. Which I hope Amy does.
Yeah, I hope Amy gets. I'm hoping Jim does. Oh God. I mean, like the videos I've been watching out of every single thing that he goes, like RTC event that he goes to, has just been like a shit show. Like the thing is that every single thing that he has accused Charlie Baker of doing in his last campaign on spending money, he has literally done as chair. Okay, like there are literally criminal investigations being conducted right now over this, and people still support this guy.
Well, he has pulled the wool over their eyes and distracted them with these cockamamie lawsuits that aren't going anywhere. It's suing people.
He tried to sue so he couldn't seat somebody on the state committee. Yeah. He wasted legal money on this. Like, that's so absurd. Like, come on. Like, you have to, like, at least accept that that's absurd to, like, stop that she's... we know.
Look, they're out of their friggin' mind. They're out of their friggin' minds. They don't get it. They're unserious people. They're just stupid, unserious people. And what I think I'm going to try to put together after this election, even if Amy wins, is really put together a targeted effort of the people that still supported Jim, because they're gonna hang around, and we'll have about a year until Super Tuesday next year of 2024 to get them out. To get them out, just they're done. Bye. You're not serious people. You're a joke. You gotta go.
You need to go. Well, it's like kind of like like it's like moving on past midterms, right? Like we saw this week the RNC chair race. Okay. Did you kind of follow this? Rona
McDaniel won. I did. She won 111 votes, 51 for Harmeet. She's the lawyer?
4 for Mike Lindell.
Right.
4 votes. Who the fuck were these 4 votes?
Okay,
I want to know who they are.
I'll tell you who. This is the problem. The same people that voted for Mike Lindell are the 25-ish, give or take, people. That's like the mindset. The people that voted for Mike Lindell, like they seriously voted for Mike Lindell, okay? That mindset is in the minds of the state committee people that are voting for Jim Lyons for chair, okay? That's what we're dealing with. You can't reason with these people. Just vote them out. Bye-bye, you're gone. You can't.
And guess who ran for RNC secretary, Jeff? Do you know?
Actually, I don't.
Kelly Ward out of Arizona. She got 36 votes, Jeff. 36.
Exactly.
She got 36. So here's my thing on like the Rona McDaniel and the Harmeet Dillon thing, okay, and like Lee Zeldin, okay. I wanted Lee Zeldin in that race, and if he was going to win, I would have supported him for RNC chair, okay. But he dropped out, okay, and so you have Rona McDaniel and you have Harmeet Dillon, okay. Rona McDaniel sucks and I don't support her. Like the thing is that it was a really hardcore Trumper. And now that puts the 2024 primary into a position where she makes me nervous. Okay. Because of her hardcore.
Keep going.
Harmeet Dillon.
I want to keep talking about that, but keep going. Sorry.
Harmeet Dillon though promoted Trump's election conspiracy theories. Yeah. And then she also promoted the idea of promoting like conservative influencers, but not like the sane ones, like the crazy ones. And so our version of JoJo from Jurors and Brooklyn Dad Defiant and those idiots like that she wanted to do that. Yeah, like Brooklyn Dad Defiant exclamation point. Like, you know how he gets like Tweet Act Blue Cash? Like she wanted to promote conservative influencers like DC Drano and shit. Like, yeah, like that kind of stuff. Like I am not on board with that at all. So out of 2 bowls of shit, of course, Rona McDaniel was going to win, but she won because the state parties that voted for her, like the 2 like committee man and committee woman on the RNC for out of each state, they voted for her based on the amount of money the RNC doles out to state parties. So it was really just a lockdown of them keeping that money that they get from the RNC versus really promoting. But who promoted Dillon out of the state of Massachusetts, Jeff? Do you know who?
I'm going to make a guess because I don't know it and say Jim Lyons.
It was Jim Lyons.
Well, look, Rona McDaniel was the least smelly turd on this. And she's not good at the position in terms of winning and record, but she locked down the votes. I think she's probably And
Ron Kaufman's not the treasurer anymore. It's someone out of Kentucky GOP.
Yeah, I think that he said he wasn't going to run so he could focus on some national races. We can speculate that on another episode, which I think we talked about.
Crosby is the RNC treasurer. She's out of Kentucky. Sorry, I just wanted to give you that little update on national.
All right.
While we're doing state.
Tune on, go to the patreon.com/RhinoPod, only $1 a month. We speculate on this week's episode about, some of the stuff that's probably tied into this. But look, Rona McDaniel, I don't think she's going to. I think she is smart enough to understand where the wind is blowing, right? Okay. as far as Trump is concerned. Jim Lyons is not. Jim Lyons, these are only Trump people, and they're gonna
right.
and it's
change, right? Like we were all Republicans before, and like never Trumpers versus like normies and all this other stuff. The Trumpers have become the only Trumpers. Like we need to like only Trump, okay? And so I think that we need to differentiate with that. Like Rona McDaniel was on Ruthless when they did that episode with Rona and Harmeet, and they did those interviews. Rona McDaniel went after Carrie Lake and didn't say her name, but she went after Carrie Lake, and I was kind of shocked that she did. What she said was completely true as well.
But no, listen, no, you got to take, look, at some point, you're going to get squished if you don't take on the crazies, because everybody in the world except the other crazies sees them as crazy. So the Jims, the Carrie Lakes, the Mike Lindells, these lunatics, you just have to call them out. Just get right back in their face. They're bullies. They want to yell at you and call names. Just get right back in their face. And this is the thing. They're just liars. They're pathological, nutty liars. And you saw this in these videos, these fucking videos from these RTCs that are absolutely bonkers about the conspiracy theories that they think is going on. And
Jim is yelling the entire time. That's one of the things that, like, you know, when I'm watching these videos out of RTCs where he's going and he's talking with like Amy Carnevale and all these other stuff in there, Amy is speaking to these RTC members and giving a vision to move forward, right? Like we're at rock bottom now. And I think that people don't really understand that. So like they're death gripping Jim as like this like thing to Trump. And like you even see like the hardcore like dark red GOP on Facebook moving towards RDS. But Jim is like latching on to only Trump, right? And it's like, it's very strange. And you see Amy Carnevale be like, we're at rock bottom and we need to change. And so this is my plan to change. And you see some sort of vision. With Jim, it's just complacency, but it's like corrupt complacency. And that's a huge problem.
Very corrupt. There's a lot of corruption. So not only have we learned of last week where we talked about the possible criminal investigations of colluding with a PAC, in addition, you know, under suspicion of indictment for fundraising violations with Stephanie Fatman and the Fatmans out in Central Mass. I mean, so that's two major problems. You have all the issues of him not seating elected committee members because he knows that they won't support him politically. I mean, this is a lot of, when you go down the list of all the shady stuff he's done, you know, running, you know, not putting, you know, all the stuff he did to Anthony, who was on this, you know, statewide office as auditor this past election, that just utter nonsense.
And think about how insane that is. A state chair working against a Republican candidate for a state office, working against him. Like that's nuts to me, Jeff. Like right, like you're deliberately sabotaging the Republican candidate for a held position because of what? Your like purity contest?
Yeah, no, what has to happen, regardless of if Jim wins, is the people who supported him even in 2021. 2 years ago, the 38 people, whatever it was, because he lost by 3. He won by 3 votes. I supported Sean Dooley and in that race, and 2 people.
We all did.
2 people. And by the way, so that I can, you know, feel free to say it, there were conversations that were going on where people of influence who should have known better put pressure on a couple of people to flip their votes, and they flipped their votes. Those 2 people flipped from Sean to Jim, and that changed the whole election. Changed the course of state politics for years to come in that vote. The people that support Jim right now have to go. And I'm going to work. I will work on disseminating the list of those people. Probably, very likely running.
You need to lose an election. You need to lose an election. And if like, that's the thing, like I would donate to an effort to send on a flyer saying that you voted for this corrupt complacency and the complete downfall, whatever organization, whatever PAC that wants to start.
I don't think you need to. It's just, but it's so wherever you're.
If you get fired in your district saying what you did in voting for him and voting for this, deterioration, you deserve it.
So we're going to figure out where you're located in your new humble abode, and see what state Senate district it is in. See if you have a normal state committee woman. I'm probably going to run for state committee, unless there's somebody else normal who wants to run. I don't think, if they really want it too, I'm just going to say, okay, well, let's figure this out, because we got to get my state committee man out, who's supporting Jim. And I think because Pat Crowley is not frozen the bank accounts, if you're signing checks off of that, that's another problem, if you're not authorized to. But that's an aside. Look, Jim, the title of this episode is Jim Lyons Must Go. That's the bottom line. It's like, I don't know how I know Amy will do a better job because she won't be actively imploding the party. It's going to take at least a year for her to settle in and start raising money and do what we need to do for 2024. But there's going to be some special elections. There's going to need to be a whole bunch of things. And let me say this. If you want to run for state committee against these lunatics, you'll be on the ballot with Ron DeSantis and Trump and the whole lot of them come Super Tuesday next year. So get in the ball game. Do it. And be a Republican. Don't be in some squishy independent. Get in the game, because it's going to take time. It's going to take years for us to claw this back. And we have.
You're a center-right independent. If you're a center-right independent, register as a Republican and actually care. If you want the Republican Party as an independent to represent your views, you have to register as a Republican. Fight for that. Okay. I actually read this piece by a mutual of mine. I don't want to name him on the podcast, but he said the reason why the Reaganites and the Bushites and whatever moved on, and now we have the Trumpers, is because the Trumpers come and they show up to RTC meetings, they show up to all of this stuff, and we stopped showing up. And I'm going to show up.
Right. So this is critical.
If you think that I'm going to be silent, no. See, and if it's the point where Mr. Kaitlin's not even silent, and he's usually silent.
The thing about it, what people have to realize, and that's an excellent point, is these town committees, the structure of political parties across the country, Republican
you have to
Party.
Show up.
We have town committees in Massachusetts, right? A Republican town committee. In other areas of the country, they're county committees, right? So it's just a different area, but they're still
where I'm from, Kentucky, it's Jefferson County GOP,
right? Because the county's just not as many people, so you can't do it necessarily by town, so you have to do it by county. It's fine. It's the same principle. The one thing that the only Trumpers are really good at is just showing up to stuff. If there's something that they just show up to here at 7:00, on this such and such a date and vote this way. If that's all they have to do, they're good at. They did it for the caucuses in 2016. They do it for convention. They're good at doing that. So if you're normal and you're like, I don't want to go to this meeting on a Tuesday night. Look, I get it. I get it. Or if you want to be on the state committee, I gotta collect 150 signatures or whatever it is and get on the ballot and raise some money and talk to the Republicans in my town. I get it. It's a pain. But you can either do that and complain about Maura Healey while reading the Globe or the Herald, or you can get off your ass and do something. Kaitlin and I have been getting off our asses and doing something for years now, as are the people inside this bubble. And believe me, we outnumber them 10-1, the normals to the crazies. We do. We really, really do. But you got to show up.
Showing up is very vital. You can't just be a passive person anymore. You've got to show up. Yeah. Like, you've got to go to your RTC and say, this bullshit's got to stop. And I'm tired of not being able to be represented in local government because our state party can't even facilitate helping candidates. Good fucking God. Like, we are at rock bottom here, and we are begging for people who like, the only Trumpers are just like death gripping Jim. It's like, something's got to change.
Yeah.
Something's got to change. Like, and that's the thing with even them. Like, they don't think anything's wrong.
No, they don't. But they're very short-sighted. They're too involved. Like, Jim, put something shiny in front of them, which is just the lawsuits, and that they're all victims. They're all big victims. The establishment Republicans, which it's like
you are the establishment. You are the establishment. Yep. Like, literally, Trump's people whipped for Ronna McDaniel. That is an establishment move. Give me a break.
It's very true. So, good luck to Amy Carnevale on Tuesday. I don't know how this is shaking out. I don't know how the votes are counted. I think though, I do think the center of gravity has shifted from away from Jim. I do. I don't think he necessarily he probably has a significant amount of support that's still in the committee, but does he have a majority? I don't think he does, because there's enough people who may have woken up and gone, yeah, he's got to go. This is really bad. Like, even them, they're like, because now they're just going to be associated with him if they support him. So it's embarrassing at this point, but we can recover. Look, I'm telling you, people like, former podcast host of mine, loves to write these pseudo-intellectual essays that nobody cares about, and saying, well, it's dead. It's dead. It's dead. It's dead. Like, look, the media always says every time a Democratic administration comes in or Democrats get elected, the Republicans are dead. And then invariably 2 years later, we come back strong. 4 years later, we come back strong. It's just shut up.
They said that in 2008, and that didn't happen. They said that the Republican Party was dead after FDR came in, after the Great Depression. We came back. Give me a break. One of the best presidents came after Truman, and he was so much better than Truman. I'm sorry, Eisenhower is very underrated as a president. He's top 5. And so we always come back. Political shifts happen. This is what happens in history. Right. So anytime someone says something is dead, you are a fucking idiot, and you have no idea about how history or the circle of time works. Give me a break.
We might even be better off. We might even need this. Like, look, the committee, we may need some young blood in the committee, right? I mean, look, I'm middle-aged at this point, and I like to think I'm young, but but I know I'm not.
Are you considered a younger Gen Xer?
I think I'm dead in the middle of Gen X. There are guys that are like mid 50s that are Gen X. Because I was born in 76. If you were born in like 67, 66, you're considered Gen X. Because 1946 is the beginning of the baby boom, right? And generations usually go 20 years. So from 46 to 66 is baby boom. And then kind of after 66, maybe to like, I think it's like 83. Don't ask me why it's not till 86. Is Generation X. And then like after 83 is.
Yeah, I'm 89. So I'm definitely.
Yeah. So, when you look at it from that side, I'm kind of disappointed that nobody under 50 is running. I took a stab at it. I took a look at it. I couldn't go for it. I'm not able to for, other reasons. But I wanted to consider it. Amy, I think, will be a vast improvement over Jim. I plan to give her a call and have some ideas. She may be receptive to, not, we'll see what happens. But, at least she'll stop doing harm, right? She'll stop doing harm, maybe start to gain some semblance of sanity around the party, and just move us into a better direction, even if it's just for a few years. I think we'll be better off. All right. Any final thoughts?
No, I mean, we've been saying this over the past year.
Yeah.
I mean, we're at rock bottom. We can't pretend otherwise. We have hardly any elected positions in state office now. I mean, like, this is a joke. It's even worse than a joke. And we got to come back to this. I mean, like, even if I have Democrats that I'm around in my daily life saying, I miss Charlie Baker as governor because we need the check on the legislature. Democrats are saying this to me. Okay. Like, even like lefty indies are saying this to me, but our state party can't get it together and actively tries to go after Charlie Baker. There's problems here.
Yeah.
Okay. It needs to be realized that this is the problem here. And if the problem is the top, then the problem is the top, and the top needs to come down.
Yep. Well, good luck to Amy. And please, state committee members, if you're going to vote against Jim, show up. Make sure you're there. It's important that we will live to fight another day. And God forbid Jim actually manages to pull this off. Don't think he will. We'll keep fighting. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep fighting. This is not over.
I mean, how are you not going to let up, dude? Yeah. Like, that's the thing. Like, he's one of the biggest voice in talk radio in New England. He's not going to let up.
Oh,
you need to go.
I think that's a good thing to Howie Carr, and go on at Howie Carr Show on Twitter to follow what he's been doing for this race. And this is really important. I want people to like, oh, what did they pay you off, Howie? It's like, no, I don't think you guys get it. He really doesn't like Jim. He really doesn't like Jeff Deal anymore. They're done. They don't like each other anymore. There's like animosity there. This is personal, and
well, it's personal. Because at the same time, while you all talk about money, Howie Carr likes winning elections and having political power. Like, it's basically what he's saying is what every even normal Republican in the state of Massachusetts, not only the Trumpers or the populist people, the old people that used to listen to like Rush Limbaugh and stuff. We like having political power in some form. And if you're in the way of us having political power, you need to go.
And he recognizes that, look, his home base is Massachusetts. Okay. Outside of Massachusetts, he probably has some, maybe a fair following or can make a living, but the core is Boston and Massachusetts. Like, he can't exist and just, try to, spin up something new in Tennessee or Georgia. Like, that's not going to happen. He knows his bread and butter is Massachusetts, and which is why he has been so adamant. And he
fights for the he calls home, guys. Like, good God, like, it's not even that. Like, I've been here for 10 years. This is my home now, and so like, I want political power. And again, if you're in the way of that and you're on my own team, you need to step aside. Bottom line.
Yep.
You need to go.
Jim must go. All right. Good luck on Tuesday. Should we go out there? Can you go out there?
No, I have to work on Tuesday nights.
All right.
But I will be following the race. I get off work at 6, and I will be following from that point. Hopefully there is a conclusion at that, and I read a positive one.
Yeah. So well, maybe maybe we can do an emergency episode. Maybe if later in the evening. Also, if I can't, I don't know that I can. If the election really is at 5 p.m., I can't make it out there for that. I got a life, but maybe we can hop on here, and if sort of it works out, if I can bring the equipment to do a live thing with people, I may try to do that, but I don't know if it's gonna happen. Anyway, well, we'll see. Regardless, we'll have some reaction here for you guys, for folks to tune in soon. All right, that's it. Going over to the Patreon, $1 a month.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.